What if I told you that every single financial expert, every mainstream media outlet, and every cynical voice that has ever told you the Iraqi Dinar investment was a foolish fantasy is on the verge of being proven catastrophically wrong in an event that will be broadcast on every news channel across the globe? An event that will not just change a few portfolios, but will redefine the entire economic balance of the Middle East and create a seismic wealth transfer that the modern world has simply never seen. Hold on to that thought, because the pieces on the global chessboard are moving with a terrifying and deliberate speed, and the checkmate call for the naysayers is closer than anyone dares to imagine. The truth they are not telling you on the evening news is that the Iraqi Dinar revaluation is no longer a matter of economic speculation. It has evolved into a geopolitical inevitability, a necessary cornerstone for a new world order that is being constructed right now in the boardrooms of the International Monetary Fund, the corridors of power in Washington, and the newly fortified government buildings in Baghdad's Green Zone. This isn't about hopeful rumors or forum gossip. This is about the cold, hard mechanics of global finance and political survival. Let's break down the undeniable reality. Iraq is not a poor country. It is a financially suppressed one. It sits atop one of the largest reservoirs of proven oil reserves on the planet, a sea of black gold that represents almost unimaginable future wealth. Yet for decades, its currency has been held at an artificial program rate, a rate that was essential for stability during a period of war, occupation, and internal strife, a rate that allowed for the controlled rebuilding of a nation from the ashes. But that period is conclusively, definitively over. The nation has achieved a level of stability and political cohesion that was thought impossible just 5 years ago. The government is no longer a fractured collection of warring factions, but a functional body pushing through monumental reforms. And the most critical of these reforms are being dictated by the International Monetary Fund as a non-negotiable condition for continued support and for Iraq's integration into the global economy. Think of the IMF as the stern headmaster and Iraq as the gifted but troubled student finally doing its homework. This homework includes passing a robust national budget, implementing the FATF money laundering standards to combat illicit finance, and dismantling a crippling system of subsidies that drains billions from the national treasury. Why is this relevant to you? The dinar holder, because this homework is the final exam, passing it is the absolute prerequisite for the revaluation. It is the signal to the world that Iraq's financial house is in order, that it is a trustworthy and reliable partner for international trade and investment. And here is the shocking part that should make your heart race: as this homework is being completed right now, not in some distant vague future. The 2023-2024 timeline has seen more progress on this front than the previous 10 years combined. The banking sector is being overhauled, financial transparency laws are being enforced with newfound vigor, and the government is actively weaning the population off state subsidies, a painful but essential step towards a market-driven economy. Now, let's introduce the wild card, the element that adds a layer of explosive potential to this entire situation. The American political dimension. The United States, under multiple administrations, but with a particularly pronounced focus during the Trump era, has a monumental strategic interest in a stable, prosperous, and powerful Iraq. A strong Iraq serves as the ultimate counterweight to Iranian influence in the region. It creates a stable partner for American energy and security interests, and it opens up a massive new market for U.S. goods and services. The unspoken truth is that a revalued dinar is the fastest and most effective way to create that strong, self-sufficient Iraq. It instantly boosts the nation's purchasing power, stabilizes its economy from within, and allows it to stand on its own 2 feet without being a perpetual client state. The discussions are happening. They are just not being broadcast on CNN. They are happening in back-channel diplomatic meetings and in strategic briefings where the future of the Middle East is being mapped out. The convergence of Iraq's internal readiness and the West's strategic necessity is creating a perfect storm. A point of critical mass where a single decisive policy announcement can trigger a chain of events that will rewrite the financial future of millions. This is the foundation of everything. This is the bedrock of why this is happening. To ignore this confluence of geopolitics and economics is to ignore the most open secret in the world of high finance. The train has left the station, and it is accelerating towards its final destination. And the only question that remains is whether you have the conviction to stay on board until the end of the line, a line that leads to a horizon of financial possibilities that most people only ever dream of. So now you understand the why. But what if I told you that the how and the are even more startling, and that the final trigger for this revaluation could come from a source so mundane, so bureaucratic, that almost everyone is overlooking its earth-shattering significance? It's a single document that will act as the detonator for this entire financial explosion. Let's pull back the curtain on the mechanics, because understanding this process is what separates the informed investor from the hopeful speculator. And it's in these details that your confidence will be unshakable. The journey of the Iraqi dinar to its new value is not a random event. It is a meticulously choreographed sequence of financial and legal milestones, each one taking Iraq closer to the finish line. The first and most critical step, which is already in its advanced stages, is the full implementation of international banking protocols, specifically those dictated by the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF. For years, Iraq was gray, listed by this global financial watchdog, a designation that screamed high risk to every major bank in the world and acted as a massive barrier to international investment. But here is the breakthrough news that should be on the front page of every financial journal. Iraq has made staggering progress to get off that list. They have established a robust legal framework to combat money laundering and terrorist financing. They are tracking illicit financial flows with sophisticated new systems, and they are prosecuting cases that were once swept under the rug. This isn't a small administrative win. This is the equivalent of a nation getting its passport validated after years of being stuck in financial quarantine. The moment Iraq is officially removed from the FATF gray list, a green light flashes for major institutional investors, hedge funds, and international banks who've been waiting on the sidelines, their capital poised and ready to flood into the Iraqi market. This influx of foreign investment alone will create immense upward pressure on the currency, but it is merely the prelude. The next act in this drama is the elimination of the dollar auction, a controversial system where the central bank of Iraq sells US dollars to local banks at a fixed, official rate to finance imports. While this system has provided stability, it has also been a leaky faucet, draining foreign reserves and creating a vast black market for dollars where the dinar's value is much lower. The plan, which is being actively executed, is to shut this auction down. But to do that, Iraq must have a strong enough currency to allow its banks to source dollars directly from the international market. This is the ultimate chicken and egg scenario, and the only solution is a revaluation that gives the dinar the inherent strength to stand on its own. The government is already testing the waters, periodically restricting the auction and forcing banks to adapt. Each successful test is a dress rehearsal for the final performance. Then comes the masterstroke, the change of the currency code itself. The current code, IQD, is classified as a funds code, a technical term that essentially flags it as a currency that is not yet fully convertible for international trade. The monumental shift will occur when the Central Bank of Iraq, with the blessing of the IMF and the international banking community, announces that the IQD will now be traded as a currency code. This is not a simple name change, it is a fundamental upgrade of the dinar's status in the global financial operating system. It moves it from the minor leagues to the Premier League of global forex. This technical change is what will allow the new, higher exchange rate to be locked into the international banking servers, from Bloomberg terminals to your local bank's forex desk. It is the final software update that makes the new reality official and tradable across the planet. And the catalyst for this entire sequence could be the passing of the long-delayed federal budget, a document that will be based on a new, higher oil price and a vision for a post-subsidy Iraq. Once that budget is law, it provides the fiscal certainty for the central bank to make its move. This is the domino effect you need to watch. FATF listing leads to foreign investment, which supports the closure of the dollar auction, which is finalized by the budget passage, which gives the central bank the confidence to change the currency code and announce the new revalued rate. Each domino is already wobbling, and when the first one falls, the chain reaction will be too fast for the average person to react to. The information is all there in the public domain, buried in dry central bank reports and IMF statements, waiting for those with the patience and insight to connect the dots into a picture of inevitable, life-altering change. Now, with the stage set and the mechanics clear, I need you to confront the most uncomfortable and personally consequential question you will ever face when that historic announcement flashes across your screen. Confirming the revaluation at a rate that transforms your life, what will you discover about yourself in that singular moment? Will you be the person who acted with courageous foresight? Or will you join the devastated chorus of those who let the opportunity of a lifetime slip through their fingers because they were paralyzed by fear and doubt? This is the ultimate truth of the Iraqi dinar journey. It is not merely a financial test, but a profound test of character, a crucible that separates those who dare to believe in a new reality from those who accept the limitations of the old world. The final barrier to your success is not a political hurdle in Baghdad or a technical issue at the IMF. The final and only barrier lies inside your own mind, and it is fortified by the relentless waves of fear, uncertainty, and deliberate misinformation designed to make you quit. Let's dismantle this final wall brick by brick. The first and most powerful weapon used against you is the label of fake or scam, a label tirelessly promoted by financial commentators who have never spent a single day analyzing Iraq's geopolitical trajectory, who dismiss what they do not understand because it exists outside their conventional models. Their dismissal is not based on the facts on the ground in Iraq, it is based on a lazy intellectual conformity. They are the same experts who failed to predict the rise of Bitcoin, who mocked early internet companies, and who consistently protect a status quo that benefits them. Your defense against this is the undeniable, tangible progress we just detailed: the FATF compliance, the budget reforms, the dismantling of the dollar auction. These are not rumors, they are documented facts reported by Reuters and the IMF itself. The second weapon is the agony of waiting, the psychological warfare of delays and setbacks that make you question your own judgment. You must reframe this waiting period not as a punishment but as a gift. This is your strategic preparation window. While others are panicking and selling their holdings out of frustration, you should be using this time to secure your financial infrastructure. This means ensuring your dinar certificates are authentic and stored securely, establishing a relationship with a bank that has a known history of dealing with foreign currency exchanges, and consulting with a financial planner and a tax attorney who can help you navigate the monumental shift in your wealth. You should not be waiting passively. You should be preparing with the intensity of an athlete before the Olympic finals. The third and most subtle weapon is the fear of the aftermath, the what if I'm right anxiety. The prospect of managing life, altering wealth can be as terrifying as the prospect of missing out. This is why you need a plan that goes beyond the initial exchange. Your plan must be rooted in purpose. What does this wealth enable you to become? It is not an end, but a means. It is the tool that will buy you your most precious asset: time. Time with your family, time to pursue your passions, time to contribute to causes you believe in. It is the capital that will allow you to start the business you've always dreamed of, to invest in your community, to secure education for generations of your family. This vision, this clear picture of your life after the revaluation is your anchor. It is what will keep you steady when the storms of doubt rage around you. The global financial system is on the cusp of historic recalibration, and the Iraqi dinar is at the very heart of it. This is not a lottery ticket. It is a strategic position in the greatest wealth transfer of our generation. The information has been laid bare before you. The geopolitical forces are aligned. The economic reforms are reaching their climax. The only variable that remains, the single factor that will determine whether you witness this event as a triumphant participant or a regretful spectator, is you. The world is about to change irrevocably. The door to a new financial reality is creaking open. The only question that history will record is this: did you have the courage to step through it? Do not be the person who looks back a year from now, watching the news in stunned silence, whispering the two most expensive words in the English language. The time for almost is over. The time for conviction is now.